League number 2. We tried out some Esper, didn't look good. Throw it out the window for the moment. So we're going to go back to some Dimir Oculus. I do think Oculus has a little bit more of the unfair angle at the moment, and that's a really big deal. So we're going to run it through a league instead. Try out this little enduring curiosity here because I think the cat's adorable. And I'm just looking for another value piece somewhere in the 75. Kaito hasn't quite been pulling its weight in the Oculus builds, so I'm going to try out something that I can flip over to Oculus or potentially just flash in. So we'll see what happens. Give it a shot. Am I the only one that thinks Jace is just impossible to cast in the mirrors and control matchups? Wouldn't say it's impossible to cast. Like, think of what Jace is not being dealt with by. Like, most of the mirrors and the control matchups are running around spell snares, cutting some force negations post board, counter spell, yes, wrath effects, solitude. So like it's counter spell exactly that hits Jace, at least out of like the blue-white control matchups. And if you can dodge that one, you've got a pretty good chance of being successful. But it's the kind of card that you have to set up. Like, you've got to set up a frog, counterspell a planeswalker, make your opponent wrath away your frog, and then resolve your Jace. You can't just like, oh, my opponent passed with 5 open mana and they haven't countered anything in 2 turns and I haven't played a threat. Here's a Jace. Much as I want the Enduring Curiosity, I think I'd rather have a second blue source. I think it has a similar setup as Kaito. I get where the argument's coming from. I don't know how much I necessarily agree. Because, like, Kaito's best setup is Bowmaster by a mile. Jace's best setup is your opponent casting a Wrath. So many unearths. The curiosity seems out of place here. What makes it seem out of place? What's the argument? A storm? I think it's Naya Prowess. Curve / unearth compatibility. Well, I mean, do you want to just like cut all of our Kaitos and Jaces and curve incompatibility, things like that? Like, compatibility for the curve is just what's on screen here. We've got 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drop. Here's a 4 drop. Yeah, it can't be unearthed, but neither can Murktide Regent. The flash threat. I'm not arguing that I think Enduring Curiosity is like a cracked card that's going to win all these matchups all the time. But I don't think it's fair to say it's necessarily like off game plan that much. Hold up, counterspell, your opponent doesn't do anything, you flash in Enduring Curiosity, profit. Counterspell's good at least. I think the overarching point is that Enduring Curiosity is less powerful than the alternatives in that sort of slot. Less powerful at doing what? Because it really depends on like what you want that slot to accomplish. I want that slot to be card advantage. So I could put like a Kaito in that slot. Kaito doesn't flip over if I flip it with an Oculus. I could put like a Sauron's Ransom in that spot, but Sauron's Ransom doesn't kill your opponent. So if we're looking at like non-sorcery speed card advantage options that have power and toughness, how big of a list are we looking at to compare it to? Like, I think something that I see a lot of, and I would definitely be interested in hearing if other people see kind of similar experiences or not. But what I feel like I see a lot of is people playing cards because there's like this. I'm just going to sync this. There's like this thought that a card is good because it's generically a playable card, when I think you need to be looking at it like a card is good because it serves a specific purpose. And when I look at something like Enduring Curiosity, it's not that the card is good in a vacuum. It's that that card serves a specific purpose that I'm looking at having it fulfill. And in the case of this, it's that card being a card advantage engine that can kill my opponent, has power and toughness, can attack. And exile this. Don't we want to counterspell the front half of Piff and sink the flashback? Well, I didn't want them to have Piff in the graveyard, period, at the moment. Like, I knew I had the counterspell. All I wanted was a big expensive card in the graveyard so that I could get Merc or get Oculus down last turn. And if I didn't hit the land, I'd only have 4 mana for Oculus plus counterspell. I wouldn't have 6 for Oculus plus sink into Stupor. So I needed to cast my more expensive spell into the graveyard then so I could be more mana efficient the next turn. A lot to say that I hope got the point across. Ooh. I just flip up this force negation and well, it's not so much whether or not it's bait, it's more if this doesn't resolve, can they even win here? Like, if I just counter that ruby medallion, their last 3 cards have to be exactly Ritual, Past in Flames. And even then, all they've got is 3 Manamorphose and a Reckless Impulse to flashback. But if I let it resolve, then I start opening myself up to lines like a Wish or Artist Talent plus something. So it's just whether or not I want to give them more potential outs. Probably bait, but like it does a lot. I think it does do a lot. And I don't know if I would say it's bait, because when you're down to like 3 or 4 cards in hand, whatever they had, you don't really have the luxury of casting bait spells. It's kind of, if your opponent's got the answer, they got the answer. There's nothing you can do about it. If they don't have the answer, they don't have the answer, and you're feeling good. I don't want to keep the Enduring Curiosity in. Like, having cards is a big deal. For the place with my sideboarding. It's weird, like, Graveyard Trespasser, obviously hitting stuff out of the yards is nice, but I really feel like Enduring Curiosity is more impactful out of the two if it resolves. Like, hitting stuff out of the graveyard, hitting a card a turn out of the graveyard is nice, but if Curiosity can just like draw me into an extra counter or two, then I think that gives me a better chance of winning in the long run. Urza Saga and Rydia is so much value. Fable loses the finality counter when it flips. Do I not understand how Rydia works? Is it not like it comes, or you get back a Saga and you get like the 1 ETB and then it goes away at the end of the turn? Ooh, that's kind of rough. I'm going to take the Artist Talent. Comes in with finality counter, gains haste until the end of the turn. I see. I thought it was like Goryo's Vengeance with Sagas, where it comes in with a finality counter, gains haste, sack it at the end of the turn. Didn't realize it was not sack it, just activate only as a sorcery. That's on me. I was wrong. I admit it. Glimpse the impossible. All right, let this go. They're not casting anything off of it right here. Card's been overperforming for you. I mean, It's a cool card. Seems like Rydia Rin could do some pretty sweet things. But I don't know how much I view that as being like, hey, this card can do some sweet things versus this card is going to win you a significant amount of games in 2025 Modern. But I would definitely be open to being wrong on that. It just looks to me like it's the kind of card that you say, hey, if I play against Boros every single round, this is really, really dope. Getting back Saga or getting back Chant so much. Getting back Saga or getting back Fable or whatever. But my concern would kind of be, what if you go up against something that's just not fair, not doing that stuff? Trying to see if we can hit a force negation. Nope. Which storm is better? Izzet or Boros? It depends. If you're looking at the Izzet builds that are on just like preordain, I think they're pretty good. But if you're looking at the Izzet builds that are on like Flame of Anor, I'm not a fan of those. But really, like, Orum's Chant is the card that gives me fits. Orum's Chant messes up everything. I despise that card. They have the Past in Flames. Ral. Okay. They blind flipped the second Ral. It should be 6 exactly, right? Because they cast the 2 Rals, that's 7. I cast a Thought Scour, that's 6. Glimpse, Ritual, Manamorphose, Orum's Chant. I'm miscounting? Guess I am. All right, do we have an answer for a Ral right here? Need like a... Quite gonna get the job done. FrogTide. And I think we just have to hope that they decide they can't tick down the Ral. So I don't know if y'all have like the same sort of experience, but this seems to usually be my experience with Ral with Storm. Like, chooses heads, win the flip, heads win, heads win. It's like it just automatically selects heads every time. But obviously don't know that for sure. We'll see if this Row's able to get there. You have Thoughtseize for not fair. I don't know if Thoughtseize is enough. Beat Zoo and Tameshi Belcher. Beating Belcher is pretty dope. I don't know if I would consider Zoo an unfair deck. Are we rallying? All right, who's ready to see if they got there? Rend Resolve, Reckless Impulse. Oh, they do have the Past in Flames. Yeah, they hit everything. We'll wait and see what they do. Like, if their win con is going for a grape shot, maybe they have to flash back to Past in Flames first. F6 for a minute till it looks like they're ready to grape shot. But this is also why I don't want to bring in all 4 consigns against Storm. Usually if they have enough Storm and enough mana to go off like this, then you can consign a grape shot and they can just like flashback Past in Flames and grape shot you again. So it just doesn't matter. But if you're just looking at for like an extra sideboard card to bring in or 2 sideboard cards, then occasionally you can hit a Ruby Medallion or you can hit like a Storm Surge Dragon or whatever it is. All right, we'll scoop to Artist Talent. Flusterstorm, just not a card anymore. I mean, Flusterstorm is good against exactly one matchup in all of Modern, and it's this one. So if that's where you wanna be on your sideboard plan, sure. But you don't run into Storm exactly, then Flusterstorm's kind of mid. You also have to deal with the joy of needing to miss Orum's Chant if you're on Flusterstorm. Unfortunately, Orum's Chant is just like the thing that swings the matchup, making it so you have to interact multiple times. All right, we're gonna scour over an Oculus, draw a second land. Ready? All right, we got half of it. Medallion. Half is good to start. But it's not going to fire off the impulse. Any argument to take a ritual or impulse since you can consign the medallion? I'm not a huge fan of taking something else there only because Orum's Chant is so impactful. Like, if I take Pyretic Ritual and leave them with the Ruby Medallion, and they just like top deck an Orm's Chant, cast that, I've got to interact with that, and then they have Medallion. It just gets like a little bit dicey. I'd rather just take like the payoff from hand and deal with the next thing when we get there. I just like don't want them to have the things in hand that I need to deal with. Payoff. Okay. That's good. I like that card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really minor little things here, but I like exiling the Force of Negation specifically to the Oculus in the off chance that my opponent's running like Surgical Extraction, just to stop them from being able to Surgical Force and then cast something. So it's not like a major deal, but a tiny little percentage thing that could maybe come up. Then I'm not going to flip over Frog right here. I'll wait till they're in step for Frog. All right. Hear me out. Hear me out. We Force of Negation this, discard a card, flip up the Frog, draw a land. That's 9, 10, 11, discard Counterspell, discard Fatal Push. Is lethal exactly. Frog's not lethal without. If I Counterspell, go to my turn, flip up Frog, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, no, one short. Yeah. So, do I want to run the risk of just having lethal? I think I do, because I still have Counterspell if things don't work out. Alternatively, I could just hard cast. I think I just hard cast Force on this. There's no reason to play the odds, because like I can go to my next turn, have Counterspell, Spell Snare, and just have like Orm's Chant covered as well. So playing too cute. Just playing too cute. Spell Snare, whatever the first thing is, Counterspell the second. Call it a day, move on with our lives. Yep. Well, it's like a little bit of overthinking. It's also, what are the odds that I can make a play that is just killing my opponent? And the odds are, if I draw land, we just kill. Which obviously isn't like that low of an odd. Somewhere in the 25 to 30%, 33%. But we also probably could have been fine just like Counterspell, go to our turn, flip the Frog, have if we draw a blue card, flip the card or flip the frog and have spell snare plus force blue card, be fine that way, but what's the next major event you're playing? I don't think I have anything until the Houston RC in October. I think I'll be at a couple others, but I don't think I'm playing in them. Get out of here. Good one. Ah. Cabal coffers. Very nice. Puts a card on top. Not a fan of that. Okay. It's not terrible. Probably need to just go for this consider end of turn. Maybe not if they're just going to hit me with a Bowmaster. You have second Bowmaster. Nope. Play out this FrogTide. Pass through. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Carry on. Slam FrogTide stonks indeed. Hope this does something for us. I'm kind of okay just like slamming frog into this token. Take it. All right, so now we're just setting up for lethal next turn. Which is perfectly fine with me. Go ahead. Pass with sink into stupor, force up. In case they have like a big wrath effect or something. Next turn, if let's say we sink, force off the frog, go to our turn, discard, consider, fatal push, whatever our draw for turn is. We can exile 3, grow this up to an 8. Frog would be a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be 12 by itself. Twelve is more than 11. What is their deck? Some sort of blue-black Cabal Coffers. I know I've seen these kind of decks before, but I don't remember what they were splashing blue for. So I don't think Mystical Dispute is something I'm hugely interested in. I can't imagine there's like big X spells. Could just be like Sign in the board that I don't really care about. I kind of like the Stern Scolding. We saw Bowmaster. They could be on like Dolthy. They could be on Emperor of Bones. Jace is good. Harbinger can shut off some of the explosive mana. Expect them to be on some reasonable amount of grave hate post board. Like this. We'll see what they got going on and then reconvene for game 3 if necessary. Isn't it just consign in the side? No idea. Let me tell you, the last time I played against a deck with Cabal Coffers. Am I just throwing back Harbinger? So I think I want to keep the Fatal Push in case of like a Dolthy. Force could be useful. Now, don't I just look silly for discarding that Harbinger? But I do know that I can freely force off this counter spell now since I have a backup. Also know I can pretty freely play out a frog since got a backup. Pseudo backup. On. Land. You know what? Sure. An opponent was nice enough to not use their coffers for that, so we knew they couldn't have a follow-up. Didn't expect that one. Swinging with the frog. If they want to block, they can block. Just your average stock up Cabal Coffers deck. Yeah, you know, just like you'd see on a normal F&M. Nothing crazy out here. Just stock up Cabal Coffers. Land. Land. Damn it. Officially cutting an Orcish Bowmasters for a Squall in my list tomorrow. Why Squall over just like a stub? Volcanius, what's up? Okay. Let's go ahead and play that out. So if I need to counterspell like a Bowmaster here, I can Thoughtseize. I want to increase white count for Solitude, and Bowmaster is just too medium of a card. Are we talking about the same Squall card? Are you not talking about Counter Squall? I'll read half these cards. As an additional cost to collect this or cast this spell, you may collect evidence 6. Destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. So you surgical everything if you collect evidence. Keep up with all this stuff. 4. Dude, you hit an Inquisition. Yeah. Could be worse. Could be better. Liked it better when I was just going to be able to take everything. So, not today. Alright, so no, cover up is gone. I think getting the Surveil here is a little more important than the 1 power off the frog. Show me an Unearth. 1 time, deck. 1 time. Dang. All right. Aha. 1, 2. Opponent doesn't want to deal with our Oculus Overlord. Maybe they thought I was drawing a Murktide and I just like had a big derpy thing that was dodging a lot of removal. It's kind of like an Unearth. If you squint hard enough, and I guess technically both things are like getting stuff exiled from your graveyard, or not exiled, but not in your graveyard anymore. All right, what do we think we're up against? Wall Seed Mercenary, Human Knight, Mercenary. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double. Oh, yeah, I've played against this card a couple times in limited. Cool-ish, I suppose. Has everybody got all these Orcish Bowmasters? I'm just out here trying to enduring curiosity. Why y'all hate me? I want that. Rather find like, I'm gonna say a FrogTide, but take an Unearth. So we go for a Trespasser here. They Fatal Push. Get to Unearth. I think I've seen more Orcish Bowmasters this stream than in my 4 weeks playing. Well, they out there, unfortunately. Are they on Shadow? It can't be. Like, they just shocked that in for no reason. That's got me kind of wondering. Oh, I didn't even think about Cecil being a thing. It could be on Cecil. What did I see off Thoughtseize? I saw one Polluted Delta, they already cracked, 2 Bowmaster. So I should have seen, all I know is this other Bowmaster. Yeah. They draw another Fatal Push. And they could have Fatal Pushed their own, or they could have pinged their own Bowmaster and Fatal Pushed the Oculus. And I think did not, or they got the fetch now, but got Unearth now. Only played against Cecil once, lost him 6 life. I took 6 and pushed it when he tried to flip it. Pretty well do it. All right. I'm going to block here, so whatever they Bowmaster, I'm going to kill off this token. So if they Bowmaster the token still trades off with their dude. Cool. Earth and Oculus. Yeah. Frog? Oh, baby. So happy that you cast that, honestly. Really want to see Enduring Curiosity, but there's just so many orcs in the way. I mean, I will admit this has been a very, very orcish Bowmaster filled day. And if that weren't the case, then Enduring Curiosity would look pretty good. That's just everybody's had orcs. They do. 2 to the top. Another copy of Drown in the Loch, so we're going to flip up a frog, discard some stuff, and kill them. Three matches in a row, isn't it? It is. It is indeed. Or no, Storm, you're right. So 3 of my 5 matches today have been against Bowmasters. This does look like traditional and not Oculus on their side. Especially with Drown in the Loch. Could bring in Dress Down. Sounds pretty good into FrogTide Regents. We'll see what we're cutting first. No, I don't want forces. It might be a little bit of blasphemy. So if y'all want to like yell at me for it, I think Thoughtseize is not very good in the mirror. It's okay. I don't think it's great. I'm yelling. I knew it was going to happen. Ah, crap. But did I not board out? 61 card special. Let's do it. Everyone get your pitchforks. All right, so we're gonna fatal push on their upkeep around force of negation. We get spell pierced, we cry. Where were you? I frog, you frog, we all frog. Doing this? Are we doing this? You have no idea how okay with this I am. Like we both go empty-handed, but I get the first draw and the first frog attack. All I really need to do is make sure that Merc is the last thing in my hand. Also appreciate opponents like absolute unwillingness to let my attack resolve. Are we doing it? Yeah. This peak magic, indeed. That one. Go. Oh, man. Times, good times. You know, this deck needs Flash for Attraction and add in Gorios and then just auto fold to the grave hate. I don't want to auto fold. I just want to like mostly fold to it. Timing of the music was perfect. How you know it's a quality stream when I plan out the random music. Casual 7 for 1 on that one. Well, I had to discard 2 or I would have lost the frog. So like 6 6 for 6 6 for 5 Like a 6 for 4, 4 for 6, something like that. All right. You know what? We're going to high roll this Oculus into the yard, I believe. We don't count the ones we discarded. I think we do. Yeah, I'm assuming that opponent didn't just didn't math out that there was going to be a frog bounce. Maybe they thought they had one more card than I did or something. This Ragavan. Ah, Prowess. Okay. Could be dead. We don't currently have an answer to Corey Steele. I'm going to lead on a blue fetch. If they go for a Corey Steele, I can scour myself and try to hit a force. Show it to me. All right. Prowess isn't that good. It's good. I think the deck is a lot worse when people are prepared for it. And that's kind of been part of the issue for the deck recently, is just like people are prepared for Corey Steele, especially going into Indianapolis. Everybody and their mother was like, what can I do to beat Corey Steele? Frog's also insane versus them. You just pitch your hand. I don't like getting into those like just do this discussions, because it's never just do this. Like, Frog's insane. Just pitch your hand. Okay, I throw away my hand. I have to block something somewhere. If they wait until after combat to give the Dragon's Rage Channeler, then I'm not really effectively hitting them on the backswing. Like, I'm not saying I'm not considering pitching my hand. I just don't think it's a free, oh, just do this. Like, you just win if you do this. So if I block a Swift Spear and one of their last cards is Lightning Bolt, I have to discard three more to dodge the bolt, one more for the lava dart is 4. 2 more means I'm not even outgrowing the Swift Spear. So I can't profitably block here. I could block and just plan on unearthing, but I don't want to block and have to discard 2 cards, and then they flashback dart and I have to discard a 3rd, and I'm still not like guaranteeing killing anything, and then I burn my entire hand. I would like to attack, but I would also like to not be dead on the backswing. So I think I just have to pass here. Try to stall out a little bit. Push is definitely nice. But I'm going to need something like Fly the Frog. Fly the Frog, block the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Push something else. Block. Yeah, block the Channeler. I don't want to Surveil and take myself off of Sync, because I don't know if Fatal Push is going to be the right option or if Sync is going to be better, because Sync can just like get a monk token off the board completely, save the push for a more efficient next turn. Like, I definitely want to be thinking about what next turn is going to look like, what I could hit and be mana efficient. And I don't want to give up just my Fatal Push right now and risk like not being able to take full advantage next turn. A lot of triggers. It's fine. We just discard our hand to the frog. You said so. So that's all we had to do. We guaranteed a win. Not always. That's not what you said. Said frog is insane. Just pitch your hand. I'm gonna give you a hard time about this regardless, so buckle up. Lightning Bolt 2. Am I just dead regardless here? If I take 3, go to 9, bounce here, still dead. Yeah. We are indeed dead. Dead. I don't know how I feel about Mystical Dispute. I haven't tried Mystical Dispute in this matchup yet. So I don't know if it's where I want to be yet or not. Let me see what my board ins, board outs look like, and then I'll make that call. I think I can bring one in. Either Mystical Dispute or Dress Down. Maybe I don't want Dress Down as much. Maybe I'd rather have Dispute over that. All right, we'll give this a shot. Mystical Dispute is an answer for like Expressive Iteration or Into the Flood Maw, Spell Pierce. Seems kind of reasonable. Mulliganing to 6 also seems reasonable. All right, show me a Force of Negation. Easy. I don't know how people ever lose games of Magic. Tell the deck what you want on top and it gives it to you. Okay. The card on top. Got it. Making you take 0 damage. They haven't even gone to combat yet. Like if they attack in, I have to decide if I want to pitch half my hand and force a mutagenic growth or just let the 2 through. I'm going to counterspell this. So hopefully I can like Force of Negation something else, maybe force the attack in with the Channeler and have a free block. One of you is getting pitched to a Force Negation. You need to attack at some point. Need to attack, need to find 3rd land. They got a Sacred Founder. Do they have Thundering Falls in hand? I don't know why you wouldn't get Thundering Falls there. Unless Jeskai just doesn't run a Surveil land. Opponent finds a Lava Dart. I could force this off Oculus. They have to attack. Not really that profitable of a trade for me. Like, I force, they attack with Channeler. I discard Oculus, Dispute, Jump, Block. They dart the frog. I have to discard my last card to keep the frog alive. Kill the Channeler. Let's see what they do off this iteration. Find a land. So if I discard Oculus, discard Mystical Dispute, fly the frog, block the Channeler. Like, I think I need to get this Channeler off the board, if possible. Slows down the pressure a lot. Of course, they find the bolt. Are you going to flash back the dart too? Get me empty-handed? I didn't even notice that. Took him off Delirium. Yeah, I shouldn't have discarded. Oh, never mind. Should have discarded. We're great. Never in doubt. There's a FrogTide. How do they not have another instant in their yard? What the fuck is this? What is this nonsense? It's when is Flage a thing I needed to consider. Not a real thing. Flage? Get out of here. Fetch land's not lethal because I don't have another Surveil. So I need like a Consider or a Thought Scour or something like that. But at least like I can force the chump with the Flage. Kind of hurts my soul, but maybe they just don't block. All the line. Please no Arena of Glory. Please no Arena of Glory. Please no Arena of Glory. Since when did Prowess start running Flage? Is this like an actual thing I need to be considerate of? I think they were running Ock. I know I've seen them run Ock before, but I don't think I've ever seen them run Flage. All right, they should be dead. Even if they deal with one of these, the other one's killing them. Pull up Goldfish. Prowess. Izzet Just Guy? No Flage, no Flage, no Flage, no Flage. 0 copies of Flage. None. We just against like the one Prowess Flage player. We have found the anomaly. You know what? Fair enough. I'm going to keep going down these lists just in case. But honestly, it's kind of funny because it seems to be like 3 people that are posting results with Prowess. I've not seen a single copy with Flage yet. I think I'm being punked. I wonder. Maybe over a dress down. I would look at Goldfish to see how many basics they normally run, but God knows that's not going to do me any good. Played against Naya Prowess with Flage. We're not up against Naya. I'm pretty positive. Pretty all right hand. Got an answer to Corey Steele. It's got an answer to a 1-drop. Prepare for our frog to get endinged after that showing. Dude, I don't know what I'm preparing for. I wasn't prepared for Flage, and here we are, so... The old expressive iteration on 2 is wild. Ginger coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. Hope you had an awesome stream. I'm assuming some variety of 37 different simultaneously played challenges, approximately. It's bad he wouldn't watch John's clip. Streamer man not listening to chat's requests. How dare he? None of those say Oculus. Oh, we are currently 3-0 in this league. Tied 1-1 against Prowess in round 4. Hopefully we don't get flaged, because we saw flage last game and I still don't know what to think about that. Turn scolding so I can have hard cast force for another Quarry Steel next turn. So does this mean they have Flage in their deck and still weren't playing a Surveil land anywhere in their 75? IDK, man. Duration's fine. We're about to catacombs over this Oculus. And it's going to look great. All right, go to 13. Go get a Surveil since one of us has to actually be playing them. Painful. Oculus on top. Tell me. Pilsner's not bad. Just another answer to Quarry Steel. Not auto pass for when I get like wear and teared here into turn. Swift Spear into the yard. I feel like Swift Spear's got to be better than most random draws. What match is this? It's match 4. Match 4. And we're going to go ahead and pop this EE because I don't want to deal with just getting bolted out by stupid Flage. Show me a FrogTide. Or an Oculus. Flooded Strand. Existence is pain. Third of the deck, no threats. All right. I think we're pretty chalked this one. All right, Nihil Spellbomb off the top into FrogTide. Squint really hard. I really dislike Flage. You're not alone. All right, so not finding a threat until what was that, turn 6? Kind of hurts the soul, but that's the Dimir way. Live by the thought scour, die by the thought scour. Let's rebound. We'll take a 4-1. Be a little upset about it, but we'll live. Yeah, Flage is a cool card, but every time I see Flage, I can definitely safely say to myself, they fucked up. Like, they made this design with Uro. Uro was fucked up. They carried it on. Flage was fucked up. Proxa was solid for like 2 weeks. Then back-to-back Prowess. Playing with or against it feels like One Ring. One Ring buried with cards made you invulnerable. Flage is a massive life swing and either stabilizes or just kills your opponents. I agree. I agree completely. Just Uro, but it removes things and wins the game instead of draws cards. Well, drawing cards is winning the game. Those are like synonymous. If I have more cards to you, or more cards than you, I am winning the game. You can't tell me otherwise. Era. I'll lose a game with 7 cards in hand before I win a game with 0. Yeah. Especially if it means I get to hit you with a frog. Like, ask yourself this. How many times have you played against a psychic frog and you didn't have an answer for it, and your opponent, instead of discarding like 3 cards to make it a 4 or 5 turn clock, whatever, just hit you for 1 over and over and over and over again? I would bet a large stack of cash that it's probably more than once it's happened to you. Really? It's only happened once to you? I feel like it happens all the time. All right, so I'm going to surveil first because I want to know if my 3rd land is on top before I thought seize. Opponent is putting a lot of faith into this Orum's chant. Okay. I could just take the Orum's chant, let them resolve the scepter on a counter spell, and just have like Psychic Frog, ditch Oculus, unearth it, go. I don't hate that. If I cast it, if I take the counter spell and they scepter chant, I do have counter spell for their first Orum's chant. Well, if I take scepter, they get to just auto counter my frog. Like they get to have counter spell up. And countering my frog kind of sucks. I kind of want to make them scepter the counter spell, but it could also be a situation where if I take chant, they just don't scepter. But I guess if they don't scepter, I still can like go for frog. So they counterspell this. I go ahead and unearth the frog. Go. Now if they hit land, they march the frog. And I just need to hit a land to be able to cast the Oculus. Unless they ripped like a Teferi as their one unknown card. Yep. Now if I hit a land, and I've got Oculus this turn. Nope. I think I'm ever flipping that one face up, unfortunately. Well, Thoughtsei's doing wonderful things is still kind of TBD. They could have like Brain Surge into Solitude white card. Get rid of the Oculus, and then I've got to figure something out from there. Or like Supreme Verdict or something. So I think I am going to go for consider looking for a Thoughtseize. They could also march, but I'd rather them pay a bunch of mana on their own turn into march that I could potentially counter instead of going for like a Solitude right there while I was tapped out, or a Supreme Verdict that I couldn't interact with. You. Where's that enduring curiosity now? All right. I'm going to assume that they don't have anything if they're just going for a main phase brain surge there. There. Drawing that was an auto cast next turn. Well, I wanted to try to go for another counter spell or a thought seize. I didn't want to settle for an Oculus there. Now, if they have a verdict, yeah, it sucks, but I'd rather play for the potential high roll. Our set's fine. Like, I'd rather play for the win, not play for the not lose. Play for the close the door, not play for the next turn or the turn after, you know what I mean? Fatal pushes out completely. Keep shooting. Snare, scour. Don't know how much they're going for, like, rest in peace. Gotta decide on something like EE or Consign. So Consign hits the Isochron Scepter or Solitude ETB. Miracle trigger off Terminus if they are on that. EE hits Isochron Scepter. I have to be able to cast it. I'm gonna board in one Consign. And then if I see that they're on, like, Rest in Peace or a lot of Grave Hate, then I can board out some more Oculus or Unearth. Since we got game one, we can always adjust pretty aggressively game three. It's all right. Answers some planeswalkers early. Answers a scepter on 2. We got a Surveil land and a cantrip. We now have a threat. I care about that right now. Really just looking for a thought seize. Thought seize, more blue lands. This just chant plus scepter. Doesn't really matter what I interact with. I'm not going to be able to interact with the scepter. So options are fire off counterspell in case it's just a bluff. Consider, look for force. Yeah, consider's line's a little bit better because it does let me fair. Fair. Why do I ever doubt anything? Dispute. The old don't go for it. Well then. Found out what they were trying to resolve. I could have consigned the rest in peace ETB. Oh, I'm an idiot. I just forgot that thing even made an ETB. We haven't lost to it yet. Haven't lost to it yet. We haven't lost to it yet. Here at a hand. They have the solitude. Okay. Do you have the counter spell? Sack that. Do you have the... Oh. Get in there, little harbinger. Go, go, go. You can do it, little buddy. Go, go, power harbinger. Mighty Morphin Power Harbinger. All right. I guess we're gonna save Frog. I don't feel like it's gonna matter, but I kind of want to hit my 5th land so I can play Frog and not use up one of these sinks. Well, we're going to play Frog eventually. I just don't want to give these up because if my opponent's got something like 2 white cards, like Solitude, and finds a second white card, I might be able to sink to put the Solitude back in hand. They can't evoke it again. Well, if that's not 2 counters on a Psychic Frog, I don't know what is. Come on, 1 land. All I want's 1 land out of you, deck. Give me this double sink into Stupor. Scoop lag. Come on, scoop lag. Well, it's not just no other white card. It's like no white card, no counter spell. I'm just trying to check all of my bases before I make any actions. This is also why I really wanted to hit that 6th land drop. Well, I could sink what comes after, but like they're gonna have a. If they've got the counter spell, they've got the counter spell for the sink on the Solitude, or they've got the counter spell for the sink on the follow up. One way or the other, they've got the counter spell if they actually have it. So I think it doesn't really matter. I have the counter spell. Yep. Now they've got a Monumental Hinge active. Field of Ruin. So yeah, they kind of had to hit the nuts there, which they did, obviously, but like hitting the extra removal spell, hitting the counter. Are you gonna untap and hit like a hooked here? The Days Undoing. That one. We didn't hit anything good. They're running hot. Dude, you gotta draw like that to win with blue-white control. Hit the chant. I don't think that's worth forcing because I didn't have anything to do at the time. You love that though, like choose not to force and then get punished drawing the frog. They are in fact running hot though. Well, see if this resolves. Weird way to resolve and draw two. I mean, they wanted those cards. You put Terminus. Why would you put Terminus on top when I've got no creatures on the battlefield? Gotta rest in peace. But fair enough, I guess. Like that. I'd rather have Murktide than Oculus, I think, since Murktide does dodge like March of Otherworldly Light. I think they both get hit by everything else about the same. Yeah, we could have gotten there if we had drawn that 6th land or the Stern Scolding in the turn sooner. But take it. Ugh. Haven't seen a Teferi out of them yet. I have to assume they're on some number. Okay. Y'all ready for this enduring curiosity to put in some work? Sage coming in with the 11th month resub. Tired of these ads. Same fam. Ads are brutal. They're gonna hit me with that Orms chant. I think I'm gonna put that in the yard. I like Oculus, but I feel like I can find something a little bit better here. Like look for a Thoughtseize for the curiosity. Look for FrogTide. Poured it out pretty heavily on endurance or on unearths, so kind of low that I'm going to hit one of those. You know, sometimes you're just wrong. Sometimes you're just wrong. Start chipping away at these exile effects. We'll go for a consign on this one. Probably better to replicate it once. I was kind of thinking about like what I was worried about them doing on their turn. And I think everything is blue that I care about interacting with. Do they think they could pay for consign? Exiled an Orms chant. Torch of Otherworldly Light. Okay. Got to figure out a time to get this curiosity in. Rest in peace is fine. Don't need to interact with that because I already got the frog down. I'm not going to fetch and give them an opening to interact with something. Opponent clearly knew that we were going to top deck the Harbinger. All these basics. I think we just say go from here. So we'll go and get our basic. Wait until after this resolves to cast our Consider off the open mana so that we don't draw into the basic. I'll keep a Stern Scolding for a Solitude and say go. At EOT stonks. Depends on what they do. If they do something like hard cast a Terminus, I would love to resolve an Enduring Curiosity here. That feels worth it. Just let this go and go for the curiosity. Okay. Talk myself into it. Because, like, if two of their last three cards are Solitude, then all they get to do is, like, exile my Enduring Curiosity, and I still have a Frog and this attacking. Yeah. Cool. We've got one card in hand. I think I just discard Harbinger and Harbinger in the land? No, Harbinger in the other Frog. No. We'll save the Frog. We'll just go Harbinger in the land. Save the Frog in case of like a supreme verdict. Oh, yeah. I do still have another basic. Let's go. We counter that for what purpose? It's like we have a backup Frog. Have the counter spell for the backup Frog? Okay. Give me the top deck Terminus. Kidding. I was kidding. So we discard these three to the Frog. Pretty good series of draws. They hit the Orms chant. So we got double force up. I can kind of freely discard the FrogTide. See what you got. Oh, they just had like literal nothing. So he could have gone for the kill, but all they've got's an Otawara. Celestial Colonnade. Otawara, blind draw. Got double force up. I don't even think this gets anything, but I'll scour you. Can't consign Otawara right since it's activated, right, but I don't need to consign it because I just have a second threat. Orum's chant was their blind draw for the turn. So they've got Orum's chant, activate Gyre Reach, or Orum's chant, Otawara. Otawara doesn't do it. So I think their out is Gyre Reach into something, like a Gyre Reach into exactly Terminus, but I've got consigned to memory to counter the Terminus miracle trigger. Woo. Okay. Pretty sweet little league there. Gizmodo decides to not stop freaking out. We didn't get to do much with Curiosity, unfortunately, but I still want to try out the card until we actually resolve it and do something interesting. I do think the unfair starts with Oculus. We're doing a lot better than FrogTide, but that loss to Prowess was kind of rough. That Curiosity was, in fact, a 2-for-1. But pretty cool league. Like, I think everything in the sideboard kind of carried its weight, except for Jace, because we just didn't see it. I'm not too thrilled with the Toxic Deluge. Like, my sideboard at the moment feels like I have a lot of cards that are for one specific matchup with like no overlap, and I'm not a huge fan of that feeling. So I do want to regroup on it a little bit.